lovers, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips and tricks to instantly appear more confident. Now, as a lot of you know, I am a young professional and I have learned a lot of these tips and tricks the hard way. The good news is that these are really easy to implement. You can do it right now, and I promise you it will make a world of difference. Okay, so the first tip is watch your wording. This has changed my whole professional life. And I know that sounds dramatic, but I promise it's true. There are certain words that make us appear or seem weak, and they're some of the most commonly used terms. These are my new cuss words. So you can say fuck or shit all you want, but the second I hear you say just, sorry, really, or I want, those are cuss words, okay? Those are professional cuss words. Hey, just checking in here. Just wanted to see if you had that finished yet. Just wanted to see if you had a chance to think about that yet. It just immediately makes you lose respect. So instead of saying just, really, you can take out that word. There's no replacement for that word. Literally just delete it at the beginning of your sentence. So I always catch myself doing this. I'll email, hey, just checking back in. Nope, incorrect. Delete the word. Hey, I'm checking back in. Just super straightforward, just like that, and you're good to go. Next word, sorry. Here's the thing, is saying sorry is almost entirely meaningless today because, oh, sorry to bother you. Hey, sorry for the delay. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have got to that sooner. You know, we say it so much. And the important thing with sorry is that there's actually nothing wrong with sorry. But I want to give you a couple of other ways to phrase this so that you're not constantly saying sorry for things that you're not actually sorry for, that you didn't personally mess up, and it helps you not appear weak, right? If you're constantly apologizing just for like existing, just for sending an email, sorry to bother you, that just gives across this sort of inferiority complex. So what I like to do is replace sorry with thank you. So instead of saying, sorry for the delay, I say, thank you for your patience. I thank them for what I'm sorry for. So instead of saying, hey, I'm so sorry that this happened, I say, hey, I really appreciate your understanding on this. I know that was probably very frustrating. Perfect way to just skirt right around that. The point is you don't want to be constantly apologizing. Okay, so we hit on just, sorry. Now, this is one of my personal ones that I found I really do a lot. Oh, I just did it. See, you guys, I have a problem. Really, it's the word. Really doesn't add anything to a sentence. And I found myself doing this today. I was writing this email to this prospect and I said, I just really want to get in there. I really want to get in with your providers, let's say. Now, when we say really, it doesn't add anything. The more clear and concise that we can be with our sentences and with our words, the more respect and the more clear we will come across. So instead of saying really, again, that's another word that you just take out. Just don't replace it with anything. Just take it out. The next tip and trick that I have for you is to be clear and concise in your words. The less words you use, the more respect you will get. In other words, the less words that you use, the more clear your points will come across. Now, this is a skill. This one is a lot tougher than just taking out a just at the beginning of your sentence, because if you're like me, you're a nervous talker. And I love to fill space with my own words because I don't like awkward silences. However, if you have one point to make that one point. say it clearly and concisely, and then sit back and give the other person the space to respond, to think about it, to do whatever they want to do with that information. The most important thing, though, is that we limit our words just to the bare minimum of exactly what we need to say in order to get our point across. One thing that I like to do is at the bottom of every email, I just put in very clear, like bold or just like a separate space down, exactly what I'm asking that person to do, like what I need agreement on. And that makes it really clear. So even if I just ramble that entire email and they're like, okay, what does this girl want? Just make it really clear. What is your call to action at the bottom of every email? At the end of every conversation, I not only repeat back to the person what I heard them say, but I also like to restate my few points. And that comes with preparation. So into each of your professional calls, you've got to know what you're trying to get across. What is your goal? What do you want the outcome of this conversation to be? Hit on that at the beginning and then hit again on it at the end of the conversation. This ensures a really smooth flowing, easy to follow, clear, concise, and actionable professional conversation. Now, being a young professional, it's so hard to find your confidence. So that's a big part of why I made this channel, is to help people like myself when I was first entering into the professional field, really struggling to find my confidence. And it's tough. Like, college doesn't teach you these things. And so I really wanted to pick up on some of the things that I've done that I noticed other people doing that just makes you appear less confident. Now, this is so true in women. So for all of my amazing women out there who are watching this video, this is just my reassurance to you. This is my validation for you to take up your space, own your seat. In our body language, we give away so much. And oftentimes as women, not all women, but I've seen this a lot. I've seen it in myself and I've seen it in other women. Like, I will have very great things to say and I still walk into the meeting like, hi. Like, what is that? What is that? And so I always encourage, and this is true for anybody, this is so important. Okay. Shoulders back, chin up, and look somebody in the eye. Okay. So when I sit down, and I know we're doing a ton of things virtual right now, this is true when you're virtual as well. All right. So sit up straight, shoulders back, chin up, directly look at somebody, look them in the eye, and know that you have every right to be where you're at. That we, as women, oftentimes we feel like this imposter syndrome, like we don't have a right to be there, or like we're just kind of like faking it to make it or something like that. But the truth is, like, you have so much value to offer your company, so much value, and they are lucky to have you. And you've got to know that, girl. And boys too, but this is really true of women. So I feel such a strong conviction to just empower my business women out there to own this, right? When you walk into a room, you take up just as much space as another person. You don't have to shrivel down, cross your legs, shrink up. There's so much power in just feeling confident in your messaging and what you have to say, in the value that you provide. And when you feel that way, it shows in your body language. So again, like, just a couple of things that I like to do is sitting up straight in my chair. If I'm standing up, I like to stand tall, shoulders back, chin up. And I really try to watch this like high pitch influx that I do with my voice. Like, I call it my phone voice, because I always answer, hi, this is Jules. And it's like, that's not me. I'm not trying to be really cute here. I'm trying to do business. I'm trying to close some deals and get some stuff done here. So, I try to just be much more upfront in myself. And so instead of like the hey, how you doing? Da da da. Like, I just level out with a person, right? I just look them in the eye, we get right down to business. I don't try to change my voice or anything like that. And a lot of these are just bad habits. So like, I don't blame you, girl. It's hard out here. But keep it in mind. Keep in mind what kind of body language you naturally fall into. Watch those things. Number 3, spend more time asking about others than answering questions about yourself. What I mean by this is spend as little time talking about yourself as humanly possible. I'm not saying don't, like, when somebody asks how you're doing, like, say I'm doing well or I'm doing okay, like give them an honest answer and then really dive into them. Get them talking about themselves. Dale Carnegie says you will make more friends in 2 months of being interested in other people than you will in 2 years of trying to get other people to be interested in you. This is like the single probably greatest line I've heard when it comes to professionalism. People love to talk about themselves. So get them talking. Learn a couple of key facts. For every single one of my coworkers, I know like 1 or 2 things that I can always ask about. And this is so important because it goes a little bit deeper than just how are you or how was your weekend. Like, for example, one of my coworkers, she's got this new horse that she got and she like loves riding horses. And anytime I ask her how's Skip doing, she just lights up. She loves to talk about it. And I know that it matters to people to feel heard. So you be the one to listen. Don't be the one to talk first. Don't wait for somebody to answer a question just so that you can respond and bring it back to you. Always remember, I'm not here to talk about me. And I try to follow that rule as closely as possible, especially in my business relationships. Like my one-on-ones with my manager, I always start off with like 5 questions about how are you doing? Because that whole call is about me, but let's talk about you for a second. And that seems to be really powerful. So just keep that in mind. Notice and think about like the less time I spend talking about me, the higher chance I have of making valuable, bonds or friendships in work. To me, one of the weakest types of professionals are the ones who are not authentic. The ones who try way too hard to be perfectly polished, to say the exact right thing at the exact right time, and to say it perfectly. Those people come off so incredibly disingenuous, and I can smell it. Like when somebody comes in and they're like all prim and proper and just like really trying so hard to fit into some like perfect mold of a professional, I feel like it's a cold, dead conversation. I'm like, okay, like that's really great that you're like trying so hard right now to be something you're not, but like I can't connect with that, I can't do it. I'm sorry. Instead, I think one of the like most underacknowledged things to do is to be authentic. Be authentic in your answers. When somebody asks you a question, be real about it and never drown out your personality in your own professionalism. Professionalism looks different for every single person. For me, my professionalism is using my personality, is using my sense of humor, my caring heart, is, instead of this coming in all like prim and put together and saying, being all nervous every time I speak and everything, like a lot of times it's like rolling up my sleeves. Let's like talk about the hard things here. How can I help you? Like what can I do? What's going on? And that is what people I think really appreciate. So a truly confident person knows who they are. And if you don't know who you are, that's okay. We're all kind of on our own journey, but have confidence in who you are and don't try to water that down by this like hyper professionalism, because people smell that. And there's something that is so lucrative about being in a business setting when somebody is just still very freely themselves. They're not trying to get them to like you. They're not trying to be anything other than themselves. And they're really just here to take care of business, whatever those items would be. So I think that that is probably my most recent tip or trick that I've really honed in on, because this is so hard as a young professional because we don't know like what's okay, what's not okay. It's so hard to measure, and there's so many different personalities in the workplace, but the most important one is your own. So whatever you like about yourself that you do well. So for example, like my sense of humor, like I'm a funny ass bitch and I know it. And so I'm gonna use that. I'm not gonna be afraid to like crack a joke with a doctor. I'm gonna crack a joke. And I'm also gonna like genuinely ask how they're doing, and all of those things make such a difference in terms of your ability to connect with your prospects, with your clients, with whatever field of work that you are in. That is so important.